Hello and welcome to another edition of This Morning with Soulivity. I want to welcome to all our listeners from around the world. Listen, we're broadcasting live from our studio right here in Washington D.C. and on KMET 1490 AM radio in Southern California. My name is Brian Westley Johnson, and I am joined today again by one of my very special friends, Teresa Greco. Hey, Teresa.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Good morning to you. Good morning to you. How was your week? Of course, we were off last week. We broadcasted a whole bunch of great replays of great shows all week long. I've missed you, Teresa. I've missed all our listeners. What's been going on with you? What did you how did you spend your week?
Well, I have lots of projects on the go, but I
Yeah.
did have a special day in the air above
Oh
Toronto
wow.
where
Wow.
I got to go on a helicopter ride and oversee the CN Tower that we have here in Toronto, probably pretty famous around the
Wow.
world.
Yeah,
Not,
yeah.
not as great as the Eiffel Tower, but still pretty big over here. But when I went up, I realized that I had done the same thing in New York.
Oh
And
wow. Okay.
yeah, and I just thought, wow, like Toronto is just such a baby city. Going to
Well,
New York, there's a
I love Toronto. We used to go there. Well, when I was a kid, we used to go there a lot. But then as an adult, I would go there for different festivals. Carabana, of course,
Mhm.
and just great shopping. Oh my God, there's so much great shopping in Toronto.
Yeah.
Mm, 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 mm. Well, we were down in Hilton Head Island and just hanging out there, and it was wonderful. The people there were just so kind and gracious, and we had friends, and we just hung out and kind of vegged out. You need to veg out sometimes.
Yeah.
There's a beautiful the beach there. Beaches there were so amazing, so amazing. Well, I love the fact that you took this helicopter ride, which I'm so jealous. I want to do that one day. And that we went to Hilton Head because I look at these things as like us being kind to ourselves, and that's what today's show is all about. Basically kind of asking the question, are you being kind to yourself and others? And so I want to kind of start today's show off with this wonderful story from the Good News Network. If you haven't been there, go check it out. It's goodnewsnetwork.org. They talk about all good news. Um, and so let me read this story real quick. When a woman struck up a conversation with an Ontario homeless man, she didn't imagine it would change his life forever. After it became clear that Brian Bannister was a kind soul who had simply fallen on hard times, Daniel McDuff offered him a job on her farm. Bannister was living in a shed after a terribly challenging life that involved childhood trauma, overcoming addiction, and the death of his first wife, followed by the death of his second. He said he had given up, but McDuff's offer revived the man and brought the farm a pair of hands that are diligent at work and gentle with McDuff's children and her animals. It floored me. It just came from the heart with her. And I've got to thank her every day, Bannister told CVT News Toronto with tears in his eyes, who added he used to do farm work about 40 years ago. Every day he gets a ride to the farm where he helps McDuff's family care for 200 animals, including goats, cows, and horses. The friendship grew over time between the two Ontarians, led McDuff to set up a GoFundMe to help Brian get back on his feet, which raised nearly 10,000 Canadian dollars. Wow. And was able to help him get his first shave and a haircut in 2 years, as well as a new phone. Wow. Talk
Yeah.
about a feel good story.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
mean, wow. Do you feel like you're a kind person, Teresa?
I do. I do.
Yeah,
I do. And
yeah,
we have to think about the ways that we enact that.
yeah,
in our lives, right? Like, it doesn't have to be big and grandiose things.
Mhm, 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 mhm. Agreed, agreed, agreed. I think about, um, the fact that it has to begin with you. It has to begin with being kind to yourself. I mean, um, there's something about not necessarily, I mean, you and I both are both high achievers, but we're also people who stay busy with things that are important to us. I mean, you're in this doctoral program right now, and I know that that's challenging for you. But as you're doing it, you're also taking care of yourself, which I believe is kindness toward yourself. Would you agree?
Yes, I agree, I agree. I think that in order it always starts with ourself, that in order for us to really be kind to others, we have to be kind to ourselves first. In order for us to really love others, we have to love ourselves first. In order to really accept the love of others and the kindness of others, we
Mhm,
have to do that for ourselves first.
mhm.
So, yeah, I'm totally with you there.
Yeah. What do you think kindness is? Because I think people may have you know, different thoughts about what it means. What do you think kindness means?
I think that kindness means choosing to do something that helps others, that is motivated by those warm and good feelings that you receive,
Mhm, mhm.
but not doing it for what you think you're going to get in return.
Right.
So it is being totally selfless in
Mhm.
the act, but ironically, even though you're doing it selflessly, you actually receive so much in return, which is those good feeling emotions.
Right. In this great article on ethicsage.com, go check that out. They have some great articles there. This one article on the ethics of kindness talks about kindness in a few different ways. It's why we named today's show in part the ethics of kindness, um, where kindness is also considered a virtue. It is an excellence of character that drives ethical decisions. People who are kind act that way not for any reward or any recognition, but because it is the right way to behave and the way a person wishes others would act toward them. It is the essence of the golden rule. When I think about this, I can't help but, and this is such a great topic, Teresa. I mean, I'm loving this so far.
Me too.
I think when I dive deep into this, being kind is, I look at this as the verb when it comes to the law of attraction, right?
Mhm.
So the law of attraction, I don't know, most people are familiar with The Secret and the things that were talked about in The Secret, where what you focus on expands, what you put out is what you hold in your consciousness is what you attract. And so when I think about being kind, like being kind to others in an act of selflessness, right? Where you're just being kind because it's a loving thing to do for someone, especially if it's something that that could impact another person's life in a positive way, and you're not doing it for any reward. That has to come back to you, even though you're not expecting anything. There's something that happens in terms of the law of attraction where you're just going to attract people in your life that are kind to you as well. You think that's true?
I agree. I feel like
Okay.
it's like karma, right? That
Right, right, exactly.
yeah, good things
It
out and good things come back. Like that's just how it works. It's law, as you're saying, it's law.
Mhm,
And that when we put good things out, it's inevitable that it's going to come back. And it's going to come back in a way that we need, right? That,
mhm,
you
mhm.
might give $20, but even in the Course in Miracles, it says that whatever you give out, you actually get back and doubled.
Right,
And so
right.
fine, you may not get, $40 back, but you're going to get something in an area of your life that you need.
Mhm, 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 mhm.
And the spirit or the universe knows exactly where that could be. Could it be maybe someone just acting, maybe a boss or whatever that isn't treating you that kindly? Maybe it's that, and it's going to come back in the form of kindness that way. Or another stranger may be doing something kind for you
Mhm,
in
mhm.
in a tight spot.
You know, I can't help but notice that this is also one of those things which allows us to maybe shift out of limiting behaviors and thoughts, where there is a overabundance of love and kindness that is possible, and that if we're in a place where maybe we're thinking that there isn't enough, right? It may be money or whatever. I think being kind can push you out of that, or create a space for you to get out of that, you know, where you're reaching into that deep well of love that exists in all of us, and giving that love to someone when they're going through something, and that connection being so deep can help both of you, you know, expound into another level of consciousness, which includes joy, peace, happiness, ease, all those things, like this gentleman of the story I just read. I mean, wow, what a story.
And I think our natural instinct, as you said, lots and abundance, and our natural
Mhm.
instinct is love, peace, and kind, love, peace, and happiness. That we
Right.
are that we see that innately in children. They are all of those things.
Mhm.
And I think that when we act outside of that, I feel like it's not natural. And we see a lot of acts of hate on the internet,
Mhm.
right? That,
Yeah. Yeah.
people can act in anonymity
Mhm.
and say lots of mean things
Right.
because they're not saying it to someone's face. They're not doing it face to face to somebody.
Yeah.
And it looks like, it's given them free rein to just say mean things to people instead of it being kind. And so
Mhm.
that's why I really love, today's topic too. It's because why is it that instead of choosing to be kind, people are choosing to be mean?
Right.
And why are they deriving some kind of pleasure from being mean instead of our innate um, instinct inside us to actually be kind and loving to each other?
Yeah, let's dive into that. Let's take a quick break, and we're going to keep talking about, kindness and what it means to our lives as a whole. And so we're going to take a quick break, everybody, and we'll be back with more of This Morning with Soulivity.
Hi there, Sheila Applegate here with some exciting news. I've joined the incredible Soulivity team as the host of the new Consciously Awesome live show, where I will be sharing insights to help you discover your full brilliance and claim the vibrant life you deserve. So tune in every Wednesday right here on Soulivity TV to join the fun, and remember to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss a single episode. Have an awesome week, and I will see you on Wednesday.
Have you ever asked the question, if I was to be anything, what would I be? Regardless of money, regardless of status, beyond popularity and fame. Living your passion, feeling your life has purpose. Soulivity is a space to nurture that which lives in all of us. A place where work can become play, and doing what we love creates the dreams of a lifetime.
And we are back with more of This Morning with Soulivity. Listen, we are talking about, are you being kind to yourself and others? And the ethics of being kind to each other. We were just ending the last segment around asking this question around, why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we doing this on a consistent basis? And, Teresa, what were your thoughts about that?
That I think people feel that they can be very mean on the internet.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
instead of saying encouraging things to people, because there's a sense of anonymity, they let their mean side unleash on others
Right.
instead of our natural and innate nature to be loving, at peace, and happy.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
people are just so far away from their truth,
Mhm.
because what else would cause someone to want to hurt somebody else?
Right. 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 When I'm thinking about this too, I'm thinking about the fact that I think people, first of all, they haven't learned how to deal with their own dissatisfaction in their lives, right? Um, when you couple that with the feelings of that there isn't enough, right? Probably their own childhood experience of that, right? That there isn't enough there, that they didn't experience enough love, that they had to kind of like just make it through. They want everybody to suffer in that vein, right? That level of mediocrity where their lives are unhappy, where they're basically unhappy, and they want everybody else to feel unhappy too, right?
And that's why it's so important for us, as we started this show today, about showing that kindness to ourselves,
Yes.
and how much we appreciate when we can forgive ourselves for those type of experiences, to accept perhaps our faults and shortcomings,
Mhm.
and then reciprocate that to others. That when we, and because I talk about happiness, that when we are happy on the inside, we just want other people to be happy. And
Mhm.
when we love ourselves, we just want that for other people.
Right. Right.
So I think people need to be looking at themselves and thinking, well, how kind am I really being? And if you're not being very kind,
Mhm.
what kind of steps can you take to show that to yourself? But then also we're going to talk about, I know on this show today, the very simple ways that we can extend that kindness to others without thinking that, oh yeah, I only make a difference when I write a check.
Right. Which is also fine, but it's
Yes.
not everything,
No,
right?
no.
We were just talking about the fact when people are maybe being unkind towards you. One important aspect of kindness that I think everyone needs to understand is that you can set boundaries with kindness, right? And that there's this great article. Again, we love articles here, don't we, Teresa?
Mhm.
In Psych Central, called "How to Set Boundaries with Kindness," and that our boundaries should reflect compassion for ourselves and others, which again is kindness, right? And it says boundaries create physical and emotional space between you and others. They show people how you want to be treated, what's okay with you, and what's not. It said, and it goes on to say, this isn't the message. Obviously we want to value ourselves enough to ask for what we need, to be treated with respect and allowed to have our own feelings and ideas. This is why boundaries are so important. Things like setting a boundary is about communicating what you need and expect. In this process, it may be important to gently call out someone's hurtful behavior, but that shouldn't be the focus. Focusing on what someone has done wrong is likely to make them defensive. Instead, lead with how you feel and what you need. Woo! Mm.
And I feel that boundaries really come into play for those that maybe are overextending themselves. Right? So one of the things to keep in mind with kindness is that you don't want to overdo it
right
by giving more than you can.
Right.
So for those maybe that are overextending themselves, putting in boundaries, because then some people want to take advantage
Yes.
of your kindness, right?
Yes.
To say, well, I know that I could always go to Teresa because she's going to say yes, right? She's going to say yes, and she's just going to, do this for me. And so, if you feel like you're overextending, then absolutely boundaries are important.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is about being kind to yourself and others, not just being kind to others, right? Because, we need some kindness too. We need some TLC, may it be, you can't go to work and then spend the other whatever hours, maybe 16 hours, 15 hours, taking care of other people. Right. You have to take care of, you have to eat, you have to sleep, you have to give yourself some space, some time, some veg time, some vacation time, some time to spend with your friends and family, right? All those things, and not just doing all these acts of kindness, right? Which are great, by the way, too. Listen, we're going to come up and take another break, but I want to kind of bring out some, how I am, Teresa. I love facts and figures. And I want to talk about how, scientifically speaking, how kindness can actually help you live even longer. Did you know that?
Yes, I did.
Of course you did. Of course you did. So we're going to take another quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the science of, being kind and what it does for yourself, your body, and wellness. Okay. So we're going to take another quick break and we'll be back with more of This Morning with Soulivity. Hey there, this is Brian with Soulivity.com. I want to share some exciting news about our new Aspire Academy by Soulivity. Now, you probably want to know what the Aspire Academy by Soulivity is. Well, it exclusively connects you with people around the globe and who share the intense desire to improve themselves and create a better life for themselves today. There's classes, there's workshops, there's live events, and even more exclusively just for you. You see, I wanted you to have a safe space where you could grow, you can learn, and it would empower you in all aspects of your life, including your mind, your body, and your soul. So how do you get started? Well, it is so easy. First of all, the best part, joining Aspire Academy is absolutely free. Just click on the Join Now button, sign up, and begin your journey. As a special part of this invitation to you, there are some free courses that are available for you to try from our amazing roster of coaches and collaborators. It's our way of saying thank you for all of your support and being with us along our journey of expansion. I hope you enjoyed the Aspire Academy by Soulivity today. Start the process. Learn more about your passion, your purpose, and how to live a higher quality life. And we're back with more of This Morning with Soulivity. I'm joined by my very beautiful and very special friend, Teresa Greco. We are talking about being kind to yourself and others. And I wanted to kind of share some more science about how being kind to yourself can help you actually live longer. This is another great article from Well and Good. Being kind helps you live longer. And I'm going to read a little bit from this. And so it says, according to a 2018 meta-analysis published in the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology, doing nice things for other people are effective ways of improving well-being. Furthermore, a 2017 study published in Evolution and Human Behavior found that people who were occasional voluntary caregivers to others lived longer than others who did not. So, listen, there is actual benefits, tangible benefits that are connected to scientific study around being kind. Isn't that cool?
Yes, very cool. And that when we are actually helping others, that there are hormones that are released in the body that give us what is known as helper's high. So if anyone's ever been in a situation that maybe they're, helping out at the food bank or, cooking hot meals or engaging in whatever kind activity, to reflect on how you're feeling while you're participating in them, because it's those feel good emotions
Yeah.
that we really want to recognize, to say, wow, this really feels good, not only just on the emotional level, but physiologically. As I said, those hormones are being elicited in the body that
Absolutely.
gives you that energy, that vibration, that those really good feeling sensations that make you want to do it again and again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One piece in here just to kind of talk a little bit further about that. The article says there's a biochemical link between kindness and longevity in the light of stressful and negative emotions spiking cortisol. Emotional states of anger, fear, hate, resentment, anxiety, worry, all those drive up the stress hormone cortisol. Eventually, this spike can increase in an inflammation. That Dr. Vu adds. He says, which is unideal in terms of longevity, as inflammation has been linked to degenerative diseases like dementia. If the emotions of stress are aging people, then the emotions of gratitude, love, and kindness are anti-aging, right?
Yeah.
Noting that being kind will actually decrease inflammatory markers and increase your immune system. So y'all go out and be kind.
Yeah.
Be kind today.
You know what I love about our show is that we always talk about how it connects with and nurtures all aspects of ourself, right?
Absolutely.
Emotional and spiritual self.
Yeah, I mean,
So yeah.
wow, I mean that's it. I mean, again, and just keeping that in mind, Soulivity again is all about passion, purpose, and living. And I'll say this every day if I can possibly do it. And that kindness has also been linked to a sense of purpose, a sense of serving, others in your world. That also is about longevity. There's a piece in here that says, the reasons why being kind helps you live longer, according to research, is twofold. And this is from Dr. Vu, who wrote a book called Thrive State: Your Blueprint for Optimal Health, Longevity, and Peace and Peak Performance. And he said there's an emotional component, and the other component is that giving, of serving other people, right? He says it's adding the link between kindness and longevity is something we've already learned from the core lifestyle habits, or the power nine, of the longest living people in the world. One of the power nine is knowing your purpose. Knowing your purpose really means feeling like you're connected and feeling like you're serving, like you're giving to others. So once again, this act of what we call soulivity, that connects everything that you just said, physical, mental, emotional, intellectual, I mean, all these different things that are coupled with having a passion, using that passion to serve others, actually has an effect on living, right? It actually can have you live longer.
Yeah, yeah. Because when we're engaged in that kind act, it's an opportunity to actually, if you allow it, to be in the
Mhm.
moment and to forget about your problems.
Right.
You're focused on, what's in front of you, who you're helping, the difference that you're making, the smiles on people's faces that you're bringing on because of what you're doing, that it allows you to step away from your life
Mhm.
and maybe the
Mhm.
problems and stresses of that, to be able to just be here now and really fully participate in that act of giving.
Right. 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 Exactly. Um, there's one little fine little piece in here. Again, this is an article in wellandgood.com. It's all about being kind helps you live longer. And we'll post the link in our chat in a minute, just to let people know how to, what they can go reading. And I'm looking for it now. He says most of us think about kindness that comes with an expectation of reciprocity, even if that reciprocity is a word of appreciation. It's a more of a transactional experience. He said that there's another act of kindness, a little bit more involved, and doesn't come up with oh gosh, what's the last piece? I'm trying to find it. I can't find it anyway.
But
But
I
anyway, it's the kindness is all about not expecting reciprocity.
Yes, and not putting that on yourself. So some
Right.
people actually feel stress about that.
Yeah.
Oh, they did something for me. Now what am I going to do for them? And, oh no, they did something. They gave me something. Oh no, now I'm going to have to buy something for them
And
in
that's, yeah,
return.
I mean,
That's even
no,
bigger and greater, maybe.
no, it's I really I like that part. And again, we're gonna in the next segment we're gonna talk about ways to improve being kind. But no, when someone is being kind to you, if you want to say thank you for that, or I really appreciate that, which in of itself is being kind. But it's not like you have to run out and go to the shelter and do that. Be thoughtful about these things. Let yourself be led to do those things of kindness, right? Listen, we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about how you can improve on ways of being kind to others and yourself. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more of This Morning with Soulivity.
can find all the Satonic products at our Go shop on Soulivity at go.soulivity.com now. Shop for beauty products, skincare, hair care. It is all there at the Go shop. Go shop Soulivity.
And we're back with more of This Morning with Soulivity. I'm joined again with my co-host Teresa Greco. Hey, Teresa.
Hola, hola.
Hola, chica. And we are talking about how to be kind to yourself and others. And we've been talking about so many different aspects of this. One important aspect was always receiving kindness, right? That you don't have to do anything to receive it, right? There's nothing that you need to do. All your job is just to receive the kindness. And if you have problems around that, a way that you can be kind to yourself is starting to practice being kind, right?
And thank you for pointing that out, because that's true. A lot of people do have a hard time receiving.
Mhm.
So when it comes to us, because we've been giving, go back to that karma aspect, that when we've been giving and the universe is now giving back to you, that you want to allow it to come into your life and being grateful for
Right.
it and accepting it, to saying, okay, this is coming back to me now because of, all of the things that I do. And so one of the things that I wanted, as we go into this next part about talking about ways that we can be kind, is, and this is just to tie into something that you said about purpose,
Mhm.
and that when we are living our purpose, which is not just about us, but it is really about, it is about helping others.
Mhm.
And that when we do that, we should try to choose the things that we enjoy. That it
Yeah.
shouldn't be like, oh no, I had to go to the food bank. Oh no, like no. That then we're not coming from a good, a kind and heart-centered space, maybe
Right.
when we choose. So try to think about the things that just come natural to you, because maybe they are tied to your purpose already. And
Right.
so then it's not like you have to feel like you're overextending yourself or pushing yourself, way out in left field to try to do something kind for others. And then it just feels uncomfortable, and it's really defeating the purpose.
Right. Absolutely. So in headspace.com, there's another great article, because again, we love articles here. It's 5 simple ways to be kinder. And the very first one is create the conditions. And I love this one. I love the fact that they made this number one, because as you read into this, it's all about centering yourself in the space of being kind. And it says, create the conditions. One of the best ways to do this is through meditation. Maybe you knew I was going to say that. Now you might think, well, how is this being kind to others? Well, he says, I'm the one getting the benefits here. He said, but the truth is that it's much harder to be kind to those around you until you're approaching your own mind with compassion. It's only by developing a window onto the mind that you're able to see its behavior without judgment. That gives us a better understanding of our own minds and, by extension, other people's. So if you haven't done it already, he says, they recommend that you go to Headspace and that you start taking at least 10 minutes or 10 seconds of just meditating and clearing that out. I mean, wow,
Mhm.
such an important part, right?
And I think that meditation, which I wanted to tie this particular topic into what we're saying today, is that meditation for me is that gateway practice that helps you to connect with your spiritual self.
Hmm.
And our spiritual self is that love, peace, and happiness aspect of ourselves that's in abundance,
Hmm.
lots to give. And that when we can connect to that first, then we understand that we are all one.
Right. Right.
Energetically, we are actually connected to everyone and everything. And
Yep.
that when you know that,
Yes.
what that means is that when you give to others, you are actually giving to yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that when you're helping others, you're helping yourself. And vice versa, when you're hurting someone else, you're also hurting yourself.
Yeah.
Know that when you are giving to others, you are giving really to the human collective, but
Yes.
it's also coming back to you. So it is never a loss. When you are helping someone else, you are also helping yourself, which explains why it feels so good
Good.
when
Right.
you do. But centering yourself first allows you to recognize that about
Mm-hmm.
yourself and then being able to recognize that in others.
Yeah, it's that whole space, right? It's creating a space of understanding that at a very high level, right? The next one is listen carefully. Very often is the simple fact that someone has that someone has understood a need that makes an act of kindness feel so special. The glass of water when you're thirsty, the help when those heavy bags when you are going up the stairs, or holding the doors when your hands are full. It's where the action meets the need that the magic really happens. Being open and aware means that you're much more capable of seeing those opportunities for kindness occurring around you every day. I mean, that's so, I mean, like, what makes you feel good when someone else that gives you a random act of kindness? Think about that. Listen carefully, right? And then that grounds you with the meditation to being, doing giving kindness, both to yourself and to the other person. One other thing, think small. Often the small things can mean the most. Kindness doesn't have to entail a radical overhaul of your life and suddenly changing the way you behave around others. You don't need immigrate or dedicate your life to a cause in order to make a difference. That compliment to a coworker, making time for your partner, or an extra effort for a stranger can change someone's whole day. Apply kindness skillfully. It is almost an art in of itself. Wow. Right?
Yes, it is. It's exactly that. And, just to tie into the second point, it is really about being here now.
Right.
And when you are being mindful and
Hmm.
looking around, you might see that opportunity to hold the door open for someone who maybe has a physical disability. Like yesterday, for example, I noticed that there was an older lady just coming to the door. She had a purse, she had a cane,
Yeah.
and I'm like, now she has to open the door. And and she said, oh my goodness, thank you so much. But it is
Mm.
about being here in the moment. And
Right.
as it said in what you read about looking around for those opportunities of where you could hold the door open, or someone where a smile or a compliment could lift their spirits, because you can see that from their face or from their body language that they could
Hmm.
use something like that. Or bringing someone a cup of tea, can I get you something? And when I go to the coffee shop, like, it's just these really simple little things,
Absolutely.
and not maybe not expecting them to pay you back when you bring that coffee back to the desk, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. 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 Listen, we're going to take another quick pause. We're going to be back with more of This Morning with Soulivity as we talk about being kind. So we'll be right back.
Have you ever asked the question, if I was to be anything, what would I be? Regardless of money, regardless of status, beyond popularity and fame. Living your passion, feeling your life has purpose. Soulivity is a space to nurture that which lives in all of us. A place where work can become play, and doing what we love creates the dreams of a lifetime.
Are you ready to take that first step towards true, unwavering inner happiness? Are you like thousands of people who have everything they need, not want, but need, and still can't seem to find happiness and fulfillment in their lives? If so, the Steps to Happiness show is for you. On my show, you will learn about the principles and practices that lead to true inner happiness. Because guess what? It isn't found in our external environment, but within ourselves instead. Together with my guests, we will explore the latest physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being practices. And together, we'll advise you on the actionable steps you can take towards a happier, more fulfilled, authentic life. So I invite you to join me each week on Soulivity TV on the Steps to Happiness show with me, Teresa Greco.
Hey, we're back with more of This Morning with Soulivity, and I'm joined by my beautiful co-host today, Teresa Greco, and we are now into final thoughts. Any final thoughts from you, Teresa, around this?
I think my final thought would just be reiterating that we are all one, and that helping someone else is actually helping ourselves. So it shouldn't be a far cry for us to have to do something kind for someone else, knowing that you are actually helping yourself in the process.
I like that. I like that. I like that a lot, Teresa. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
I'm going to end. My final thought comes from the last way of being kinder from this Headspace article, and it reads. It's a little long, so just bear with me, everybody. It says, "Don't give up. Even if we resolve to be kinder, there's a chance that we will still have bad days. Maybe we'll find ourselves angry, resentful, critical, or harsh. And perhaps there's a temptation to believe the worst, that really this is our true nature, and that being kind was merely a put on. I think that there is perhaps a natural tendency to buy into these types of thought. But this is just more thinking. When we look at our behavior over the course of even a short period of time, we can see we're capable of so many different ways of being. The mind is limitless, capable of anything. So don't let yourself be defined by a single disappointed expectation. Remind yourself of the idea of inherent kindness, and then share it with those around you, even those who you may not know or even like. Genuine kindness is unconditioned." That's my final thought.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Oh man, such a great show, and so it always passes by so quickly.
So I know,
Gosh,
especially when you're talking about topics that you're so passionate
exactly. Would you do this again with me next week, Teresa?
about. Please.
Listen, we've got a lot of great things happening with Soulivity. Teresa, you have another fantastic Steps to Happiness show coming up on Thursday. Your guest is David Essel, and you guys are going to be talking about happiness is living heaven on earth. Any kind of things you want to kind of talk to us about that upcoming show?
It is really, looking at heaven in a different way. There's a little teaser there.
Oh man, yeah. So 12 noon on Thursdays. The Steps to Happiness with Teresa Greco. It's going to be another fantastic show. And on Wednesday, another great Consciously Awesome Living with Sheila Applegate at 12 noon, both right here on Soulivity TV. Also, we want to remind you, please follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and also go to our Soulivity page here for this morning at soulivity.com/this morning. You can sign up for our email for our mailing list, and you can have a chance to win exclusive things and get a chance to read exclusive content as well. So, listen, man, this always goes so quick. I did that already, but It's really true. It always goes so quick. This is another great topic. I'm glad that we're talking about things like this because I think that we don't talk enough about them. And being kind. We talk. Like your grandparents talk about being kind and stuff like that. But do we? Do we really make it a practice of being kind?
And I
Right.
think talking about this on Monday, so I challenge the listeners this week
Nice.
to try to do an act of kindness.
Mm,
And if
mm,
if you can do one at least once a day, and it could be, simple things, even just with your own family, right? We think we have to
yeah.
do, when we say do it for others, it could be others in your own home.
Yes. Yes.
So it doesn't have to be, the population at large that you're doing
Right.
doing kind things just for your partner,
Hmm.
which in some cases can be a stretch if you've been arguing with your partner or, your kids maybe have been upsetting you, but it could just be doing something kind for those closest to you too.
Absolutely. And again, I think Teresa, you said at the beginning of our show today around these acts don't need to be these grandiose kind of things. They can be something very, very small, but something that maybe you felt in your own life that energy where you're like, wow, that was really nice, right? I really appreciate what this person did. Use that energy and give that to someone else, something that that they would really appreciate you doing for them, right?
Mhm.
Oh man, so wow, another great show. Listen, please again, we just want to remind everybody, please follow us on social media, join our mailing list by going to our this morning website at soulivity.com/this morning. You can learn more about Teresa Greco on our site as well. But on behalf of all of us, I want to say thank you for joining us for another great episode of This Morning with Soulivity. We hope that you come back and join us every weekday at 8 a.m. Eastern for our live broadcast, or you can listen to us Thursdays and Fridays at 9 a.m. Pacific on KMET 1490 AM for all of you out on the West Coast. Until next time, keep having real conversations with passion and purpose and create that beautiful life of quality today. See you next time, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.
This work is subject to copyright owned by Affinity Global LLC. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this is expressly prohibited unless Affinity Global LLC has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.